Hey, good morning. How y'all doing today? Hey, what's going on? For sure. As it may say, yeah, my name is Bryan Holmes. I'm a site coordinator, and I don't know if Aisha's in the building. Is she in the? Okay. So we all now know that New Mexico is definitely in the building. Yes. All right, for sure. Before I start off, I just want to go ahead and thank the organizers of this event. This has been a very profound experience for myself, and I'm speaking for myself, but I'm probably speaking for many others in the room as well. Going to the Civil Rights Institute, these learning labs and these breakout sessions and these panel speakers that you guys have had, this is a lot of good information that we can take back to our affiliates. So I want to thank the organizers of this event for hosting this and also allowing me to speak my truth. All right, now let's get to the nitty gritty of it, all right? With that being said, over the last few days, we've been talking about practices and techniques that foster inclusivity, all right, and create an atmosphere of belonging for the students that we serve, and how this ties in to the mission of communities and schools. And we all know the mission of communities and schools, right? It's to surround students with support. Oh, I'm testing y'all now. Ray, you keeping note of who's getting this wrong? All right. To surround students with a community of support that empowers them to stay in school and achieve in life. All right. So as we sit here in Birmingham, Alabama, widely considered as the Mecca of the civil rights movement, it makes me think of a place that's near and dear to my heart, that changed my life, that's also played a pivotal role in the civil rights movement here in the United States of America. And especially when we talk about educational equity and educational equality, which is the platform that we stand on here at CIS. And that place is Little Rock, Arkansas. Not sure if you guys are familiar with Little Rock, Arkansas, but right in the heart of Little Rock, Arkansas, there lies a tiny, small institution named Philander Smith College. All right. And we used to be Philander Smith College, we're Philander Smith University now. So we moving up in the world, you know. We in that deluxe apartment in the sky now, you know what I'm saying? But back in September of 1957, the day before school started, the governor of the state of Arkansas decided to integrate schools starting right there in Little Rock. And the school that was going to be integrated was Little Rock Central High School. As you can imagine, there was a lot of backlash and pushback to that decision. And that was the day before school started. So the next day, those 9 brave and courageous souls actually did not go to school. They were allowed to, but it was some conditions that was going on that was preventing them. So it took about 2 to 3 weeks before they could actually get into school. And in those 2 to 3 weeks, about a half a mile up the road, Dr. Ozell Sutton, the president of Philander Smith College, opened its doors to those students of Little Rock Central High School, those 9 brave and courageous souls. And the students of Philander Smith College then started to mentor, started to tutor the Little Rock 9. You see, even then, Philander Smith College back in 1957 understood the importance of surrounding students with a community of support that empowered them to actually just get into school and achieve in life. All right. And when those 9 students finally entered those doors a few weeks later at Little Rock Central High, us as a nation and society took the very first steps into educational equality and equity as we know it. All right. You know, we were separate but equal, but we weren't equal. And now, 67 years later, we're together, but are we equal? Because if we were, we weren't necessarily be in this place, right? So let me tell you a little bit more about Philander Smith College and that role that it played, all right? Philander Smith College, founded in 1877 as Walden Seminary. It was a higher education institution to provide education for former slaves, all right? And it was there, they were to cultivate the minds of the future Negro preacher and the Negro teacher, all right? Philander Smith College is what we now know as a HBCU, a historically black college or university. Philander Smith College was also a founding member of the United Negro College Fund. And for those who don't know, the United Negro College Fund coined a term called a mind is a terrible thing to waste. So what the UNCF does is they provide funds to people who need a little bit of extra support to financially empower them to stay in school, right, and achieve in life. I myself was one of those students who received scholarships in 2 years from the United Negro College Fund as a first generation college student and first in my family to graduate from college. So I'm very thankful for that. And Philander has had a long history of graduating academically accomplished students. Grounded, listen, this is the mission. This is where I went. I'm telling y'all a little story about PSC, now PSU. Philander's, the mission statement is to graduate academically accomplished students grounded as advocates for social justice, determined to change the world for the better. I stepped on that campus in August of 2007. A few weeks later, I was in that mission so deep, knee deep into it. There was a situation about 4 hours down the road in Jenner, Louisiana. This is in 2007. Maybe some of you remember this, and maybe some of you don't. Where 6 young men were unjustly treated by the legal system there in Jenner, Louisiana. And these 6 young men were called the Jenner Six. And I put on a black T-shirt, and I jumped on a bus that was with 2 other buses of all Philander Smith College students and some people in the city of Little Rock. And we went down to Jenner, Louisiana for a whole day. We marched in that hot land. If any of y'all been to Louisiana, it's hot, and we was wearing black. All right, you know what I'm saying? And it was packed, and we was out there. But they say we was outside. You know, that was 07 though. For real. And we was in that mission. They was teaching me how to be grounded as an advocate for social justice, because that was wrong what the legal system was doing to those young men there. And then a few months later, I was fortunate enough to be duly initiated into the fraternity named Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. A couple bros in here. Oh yeah. And I was still grounded as an advocate for social justice, determined to change for the world for the better. In that spring of 2008, I registered 100 of my peers to vote. Right? And so that was like April, May of 2008. We know what happened November 4th, 2008, right? We had one of the most historic, not one of the most, the most historical election in this United States right here, right? With the election of President Barack Hussein Obama. All right, and that's what happened. Okay, and then from there, I was still determined to change the world for the better. After graduation, I went ahead and started to serve this country in something called the Peace Corps. And Peace Corps, we got some RPCVs in the building. All right, and when I was in the Peace Corps, while in the small country of Malawi, which is in Southeast Africa, I was there for about almost 2 years. COVID evacuated us, but I was able to meet with the village chiefs and the village headmen and all the elders of the community, and I was able to write a grant to build a girls' dormitory right on the campus of the school so that girls can attend school without having to walk back and forth, because gender equality, unfortunately, is an issue out there, especially when it comes to education, all right? I understood that me meeting with the chiefs and me just not coming in as, I'm the American and I know it all. Let me meet with you so we can have that community of support, right? To empower these students to stay in school and achieve in life. Y'all see where I'm going with this? All right, and even now my work as a site coordinator in the oldest state capital in the United States of America, Santa Fe, New Mexico, silently, one of the most segregated cities in the U.S. Silently, where they separate people there based on class and then race. And one of the worst cases of gentrification is going on right there in Santa Fe, New Mexico, pricing everybody out. You may not even think it. Santa Fe is one of the most expensive places to live in the U.S. Not D.C., not San Fran, Santa Fe, New Mexico. All right, which brings me to a question that a young person named Alex from Las Vegas asked yesterday to the panel. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to put you on the spot, Alex, because you're right here. But no, I didn't know he was going to be sitting there. I didn't know he was going to be here. I thought he was just here yesterday. Yeah, I did. I thought he was just here yesterday, all right. But Alex asked a question to that panel, and he said, how do we encourage students to pursue higher education at a place that meets their needs? And as I started to ponder that question and started to ponder that answer, I started to think about my own higher educational experience. I started to think about how I went to Philander Smith College, a historically black college. And then I started to think about where I went to school to get my master's degree at New Mexico Highlands University, which is considered a Hispanic Serving Institute, a HSI. A lot of y'all may not have heard of that, but those exist. And those are the HBCU equivalent for Hispanic students. All right. Then I started to think about the population we serve, right? 76.5% of the students that we serve identify as, you may have guessed it, black or Latino. So I started thinking about these institutions that are already there. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, Alex. All right. And then I started looking a little deeper, and I started thinking about the study that came out earlier this year in Forbes magazine from the National Academy of Science, Engineering, and Math, which stated that they found that the practices and strategies for training and support diverse student talent are being recognized and elevated as models for organizations seeking to exemplify inclusive excellence. So the HBCUs and the HSIs, they already do it. They already know the importance of that community of support that empowers students to stay in school and achieve in life. Y'all see where I'm going with this now? All right, and then I think more about HBCUs because they're near and dear to my heart because I graduated from one. I'm always going to be a proponent for one, right? Though they represent only 3% of the higher educational institutions here in America, they produce 24% of all black degree holders, 32% of all STEM black degree holders, 40% of all black health professionals, 50% of all black teachers, 75% of all officers in our United States Armed Forces, and 80% of black lawyers and judges. That's what they don't tell you, huh? Right. All right. So, Alex, to answer your question, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. But as a site coordinator in New Mexico, I challenge all of you. I challenge my fellow site coordinators. I challenge my program directors. I challenge my alumni folk. All right. I challenge my chief impact officers and my EDs. Go back to your site. I'm serious. Go back to your site and print out a list of HBCUs and HSIs. And then sit down with your students. All right. And start to work through that list. Your sophomores, your juniors, your seniors. Start to work through that list. The ones that are in junior college, because I also went to junior college as well. All right. Start to work through that list. Find a school that fits for them. Understand the requirements that it takes to get in and understand those deadlines. And then, as Dr. Tanya Perry suggested yesterday, go visit those schools. See if you can get the feeling for it, all right? So we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So I challenge you all to do that. Let's let HBCUs and HSIs pick up where we leave off. A proven success model, all right, that they continue to surround students with a community of support that empowers them to achieve in life, to stay in school and achieve in life. Hey, peace and love.